Hello and welcome to the Thought Leader Recruiter podcast, where we dive into the latest trends shaping recruitment, hiring, and talent acquisition. Today, I'm joined by James Tristan Smith, Managing Director of Tristan Parker Recruitment. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Good to have you here. So let's start off. What inspired you to start Tristan Parker? Was there a specific moment that pushed you to take that leap?
I think it was probably a consequence of COVID, really. Set up in 2021, I found myself in a position whereas I was actually made redundant and I'd stepped out of recruitment and actually started working with one of my clients as an area manager. But because of COVID, it kind of was a non-starter. I was at a point where I was thinking, really, what should I do? No one was hiring. And I'd toyed with the idea of setting up my own business for a number of years. And really, I was in a position where that was, one of my only choices. Best things to happen. It's made a huge difference to my life. And yeah, it's been a success. I started Tristan Parker. Yeah.
4 years in. So since launching the business, how has your vision, or how has that changed, or how's it evolved since then?
So the first year was working from home. If anyone walked into my apartment at the time, they would have thought I was a mad scientist because of just paperwork everywhere. I turned the fridge into like a whiteboard with clients' interviews and stuff like that. But so from then, we're now in an office in Blackheath Village. Now I now have employees working with me, so I think we've made some steady growth in the 4 years. It doesn't come with that; it's trials, but yeah, I think I'm pleased with where we are now as opposed to when we started. I think, as I say, it's made some steady growth.
Yeah, for sure. Tristan Parker, it's carved out a strong position in the market. What would you say makes your approach unique?
I think fundamentally it comes down to how you do things, the process. I mean, it's heavily linked to process and having faith in the process. So I think being thorough, being diligent, being honest with our clients, committing to providing the solution, and then you get the results. Yeah, I think I'd say, yeah, just being thorough and being and allowing clients and candidates to know, they know where you stand. Yeah, they know that you're working for them.
Yeah, makes sense. And from your perspective, what are some of the biggest shifts happening in your specialist markets right now?
So I think in construction, looking at manufacturers and contractors, the Building Safety Act and compliance regulation in the last 10 years, especially probably more over the last 5 years, is probably where there have been radical changes and where the shift has been. I'm noticing a definite upturn in compliance or compliance-based roles or technically led roles with parts of compliance as well.
And are companies approaching recruitment differently due to the economic conditions?
And being more selective with who they use, which I think is a good thing because I think then the better recruiters will shine through and that can solidify like more long-term relationships. I mean, finding good people is always tricky. That's obviously where we step in. I don't know, broadly speaking, finding the right people.
Yeah. Is there a talent shortage, would you say, at all? Or just firms just not looking in the right place? Or
I mean, the way that I've always looked at it is that we would naturally always find the person whether they're looking or not, or open to new opportunities. But I think, yeah, I think that probably the instability and the uncertainty in the market and where maybe economic factors are taking part were maybe less inclined to want to leave their current role because it's maybe seen as more of a risk. So I think then the knock-on effect from that would be that, yeah, there is a talent shortage and that the right people, the good people are harder to come by. So you've got to, yeah, look that little bit harder to find the right person.
is it is it blue collar or white collar you recruit
So
for?
typically white collar. I've worked with a lot of manufacturers and contractors over the years for technical sales roles, compliance roles, that type of thing.
And as your business grows, how do you make sure you're keeping the same high standards?
I think being methodical again with the process and being thorough. When I started recruitment, I was taught to do a very, very thorough candidate questionnaire, running through every detail, so that it would prevent the mistakes happening at the end. So the more information you get at the beginning, the less likely something's going to go wrong later on, because you've got all the information. So again, just being thorough, going through, asking the right questions, listening intently, and the same with the clients as well. Really getting a very good understanding as to what specifically they want, asking the right questions, and building trust.
Yeah, of course. And what about retaining top talent? Is that an issue for you, or is it something you're not really finding a problem?
Predominantly, most of what we do is contingent work. I do have relationships where we work on a retained basis or exclusively. In honesty, I'm quite happy to work on a contingent basis. I know that a lot of recruiters may oppose that, but I think if you know the right people and you're quick and efficient at what you do, that will normally give you the results. But obviously, look, being on a retained basis with the clients is beneficial as well. But a lot of clients will, they won't necessarily want to sign up to that. And it would be a very strong argument to convince them otherwise, because, they're going to want to spread their risk and use other agencies. And I think the proof is in the pudding. If you can deliver and give the results, then, there's room to discuss it. And that's kind of how I've got the retained clients. It's through first working on a contingent basis and proving that we can deliver. And then, once we've got that established relationship, once we've built that trust and confidence, then we can look to do something on a retained basis.
Makes sense. And what's next for Tristan Parker? Any big goals or plans on the horizon?
Yeah, so I want to scale the business. I want to employ more people. We are open to looking at taking on new people, preferably those that have experience within recruitment, have a track record of performing well. And also, I am working with someone who I used to work in the financial world, and looking at the potential for acquiring recruitment businesses. So we want to scope out some businesses within recruitment that are ideally looking to sell, and seeing if there's an opportunity there where we might acquire the business, and looking at scaling up that way as well.
Yeah, exciting stuff. And where do you see the recruitment industry heading in your specialist areas?
So I think obviously the use of AI is being implemented into recruitment now. I think that's something that we have to run with, and something that we have to implement as well. But ultimately, I think that it's a case of having those relationships with clients, whereas you've got the trust and confidence, and really nurturing that. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, AI is an interesting one in recruitment, isn't it? It seems to be kind of taking over every industry, but with recruitment, I think you always have that element, the human element to it, and it can obviously be helpful, but I think the human element will always stay in recruitment.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think AI is going to be a useful tool, but fundamentally, you still need someone who knows what they're doing, to qualify the candidates, to anticipate what's going to happen, to look 3 steps ahead and to have those hard conversations. And AI can't do that. It's always going to have to be down to the person. So, we're not going to be replaced by robots just yet.
No, I don't think so. I think we're safe. Are there any kind of, apart from AI, other emerging trends you think companies need to start preparing for?
Emerging trends, not specifically within recruitment. I may be missing something. I know AI is a big thing. Kind of got tunnel vision on that at the moment, and
Yeah,
other things, but nothing that springs to mind. What
no,
would you say? Do you think, from speaking to other recruiters?
yeah. I mean, AI is a big one. I think like the sourcing of candidates with AI seems to keep springing up in conversation about it. So I think that's quite interesting subject, really. But again, yeah, AI it's going to help for sure, but it's not going to replace humans. You still need that human touch. It's just going to be a helpful tool to them tasks that we don't want to do.
Yeah, well, if it can speed up the process and,
Yeah,
make things easier, then great. But yeah,
I
it's
suppose in
always going to
terms
need
of
that.
like also in terms of some kind of marketing and content and things like that you need in businesses. It's a very helpful tool to use.
Yeah, I actually a few years ago I drafted some job descriptions as AI videos. So rather than get the A4 breakdown on the job descriptions, actually putting together a video of the company's products, their solutions, what they're about, that type of thing, into a video. So you send that to the candidate, as opposed to just a standard job description. I think that'd be quite a innovative way of doing something quirky, something new.
Yeah. I suppose
using AI.
Another thing that's popped out a few times is like AI written CVs. Is that something you come across?
I haven't.
No.
We haven't used those, to be honest with you.
No.
I know Chat GPT?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people use that, but I think the problem with that is that it comes across that it's Chat GPT, and
people are getting clever now. They know.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell that it's robotic. It's been drafted. So it's not something we've used, and I'm not really inclined to looking at that for CV writing at the moment.
No, that's right. Another conversation I had was a recruitment firm. They do a writing test. So they do a writing test, and then the candidate does the writing test, and then they put the writing test through AI to find out if it's AI written or not.
Really?
Yeah. So they're
so we can find out.
They're testing their writing skills, I suppose, but then they're also testing if it's been written with AI or if it's genuine or not. So it's getting mad, isn't it? It's testing AI with AI. Oh, yeah,
So
that's great.
we're still using spell check.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
but that's the extent.
Yeah,
that's it.
Great. One last question, James. If you could give businesses one piece of advice to prove their hiring success, what would it be?
Business, one piece of advice to improve their hiring. I think if working with a recruiter, give the recruiter the time of day. I think have the in-depth discussion, give as much information as possible. If you're working with a recruiter, give them the trust to find the person, but in order to do that, you've really got to lay all the cards out there and be honest with them. And I think if you give them that time and that honesty and that commitment, I think the recruiter will give it back because they'll know that you're a committed client. So that's what I'd say. I'd say, really, really give the recruiter the best chance of finding the right person for you by giving them your commitment.
That's it. Let's start giving recruiters a chance. They got a bad rep for some reason, but
we're good guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's evolved though, hasn't it? I think that the days of the kind of maverick, kind of aggressive, kind of recruiter image is going.
I think they get found out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I've worked with clients and have worked with clients for a long time because I trying to make it less stressful, providing a solution. I'm honest. I think if you're not honest, you'll get found out very quickly. People can, I'm thinking of the right word to use. It's sniff out those that aren't being honest.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's the best is going to shine through. And as I say, the maverick recruiters aren't going to last, especially in a tough market as well. So
yeah, totally agree with you there. Well, thanks for that today. Appreciate it. Where can the audience kind of get in contact with you and find out a bit more about your business?
So our website, tristranparker.co.uk, you can see our contact details on there. Failing that, you've got LinkedIn. We've got LinkedIn page, Facebook, Instagram. By all means, message me. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Thanks again for that, James, and I appreciate your time. And it's been a full year recruiter, and I'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Cheers, James. Really appreciate it.